podcast listeners, if you hear my voice right now, I need you to do something for me. I want you to take out your phone or on your computer, go to Apple Podcasts, search for Ask Your Oldhead podcast. You'll see my logo, my little picture, my little image there. Find the show. Please rate and write a review. It's a small thing, but it helps others find this work and find what I'm doing here. And it really, really matters, as small as that may seem. So if you could please do that before we get into the show, I would much appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Let's get into it. Peace. Peace. I'm Justice.
My brother, Justice Rajee.
All right. So, I wanted us to have another conversation and, and hopefully just something a little more fun today. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things going on in the world, but, life ain't always about all them other things. So the thing I need to tackle is a conundrum and an enigma wrapped inside of a mystery, right? And that is the mystery and the conundrum and the enigma of the white denim. Here's the thing. I'm definitely afraid of wearing any pair of white pants more than once because, stains, things spill, or is this, is it too much, for where you're going? Like, is people like, man, look at this guy in these white pants. He think he at the Copacabana or something, or he's at the, wherever. I don't, I might be operating.
Insert place.
Insert place, right? He in Miami. He think he in the South, South Beach. You know what I mean? If I'm supposed to have some leather loafers with no socks on, you know what I'm saying, when I wear these pants. And since it's that time of year where usually the people have already been to or held or had a white party of some sort, or one will surely be on the horizon by Labor Day weekend, I thought it might be appropriate for us to engage this context, just for the listeners that might also have similar quandaries and challenges, and you as a well experienced and seasoned man of the world, you know what I'm saying, international, national, you know what I'm saying, you've been many places, seen many faces, you know what I'm saying. I thought maybe if we engaged this conversation and all of its potential pitfalls and triumphs, that we might all get something better out of life. So
that come with the conundrum. I mean, yeah. Oh man, and there's so many traps like this. I mean, so and obviously this is cultural, but yeah. Growing up, you have this idea of like white pants, and it works. And then you get older and you're like, well, what exactly kind of shoes am I supposed to wear with white pants? And how clean can they be? And are they real denim? Are they something that looks like denim? Where do you find actually a real pair of white denim jeans? Like really, right? Mm-hmm. Like not something that's cotton that looks like denim. There are a couple clothiers that do them, but they are a little more difficult to find than people give credit for. Mm-hmm. I have endeavored to wear them actually once, and it was coming to see you and Niles Devon and the family out there, and endeavored to go to the all white party.
Yeah,
and did them with a pair of white sneakers and a white t-shirt, right? And the other party like this is the same thing with black stuff. All whites don't be the same, which kind of be like,
right.
Or like you be in that new that whack ass Superfly redo, like the Snow Patrol, like everybody got on white, like and so it's a thing. And to your other point, it does require, I think, either a tailor or a if it's off the rack and you can make it work, that's cool. But I think a lot of white jeans require like a tailor. Okay. Because I think they require wearing a pair of pants that make sense. Now, if it's a loafer, with no sock if you're going full, kind of sprezzatura, you know what I'm saying, for the Italians. You're going full no sock with a white loafer on, you know, not trying to be Rico Suave, but there's a place for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to touch on this whole white party thing since you brought it up. And I want to touch on kind of like, we want people to show their creativity. I don't knock that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think we be taking white parties out of their proper context, right? White parties was like really for the summer, for particular places, like, and it was a look. It wasn't I want to go to the party, but I have to wear white, so I'm going to wear anything that's white to get into the party,
Mm-hmm.
which is what white parties have become now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just become like I got a t-shirt on, a white sailor hat, a white pair of shorts, a pair of white cargo shorts, white socks, and some, white sandals or some shit, man. Y'all gotta stop that shit, man. Like, you gotta stop it. Get you a white shirt, some white slacks. And you know what? Dress code be damned. There are not a lot of white shoes that honestly I think a well-dressed man should be wearing.
Mm.
I'm hard pressed to think about some white shoes that when it comes to going to a garden party, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That you should actually be wearing.
Right. Because the idea of I think the origin, as I understand it, is sort of like a party that it's an outside party. It's in the evening, as the night cools off or whatever from maybe the heat of the day, and you may or may not be able to see the ocean from where this event is happening. Is my understanding of like where kind of the idea.
I concur. That's yeah.
Yeah. Because finding some white shoes like that, it sounds good on TV, but when I actually went to go because it's like, do you want to wear if you are wearing sneakers to everything, I guess you could just get you some white on white Air Force Ones. Nah. Not really a fan of. They make my feet hurt. I find them to be wildly uncomfortable, and kind of look one way. But that's me. I'll be out here on Rajee Island as it pertains to white.
Well, white on whites. The thing about white on whites are, I think they are the ultimate kind of like they are a very clean shoe, mm-hmm. And depending on your shoe size, it can really mesh with an outfit. Once your feet are a certain size, and depending on what you're wearing, all white Air Force Ones, white on whites, don't look, frankly, as good as people think they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And then you start running down the line of like shoes that, like, again, like I said, if somebody was like, it's a white party in a week and a half, and you need to go find some white shoes to wear to the white party. And this is may also be somewhat of a commentary on the overall sad state of men's apparel and generally the apparel world, where we have tons and tons. We have like inhuman amounts of supply of different clothing, but sometimes when you start looking closely at the options of clothing, it's a lot of terrible. It's a lot of like, it's either drab, you know what I'm saying, or so it's like a lot of mauve and browns, and I like to think about it as some if you watch Zoolander, Garbalique colors, somewhat inspired, whether people like to admit it or not, the influence of Mr. West and his apparel, like these So I feel like you might find it easier to find like an off-white shirt of some
Oh,
sort, or some sort
absolutely.
of weird.
Yeah. And we're going. We're calling off whites white.
Yeah,
That's a whole other thing.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then now unless you know what I'm saying, some of the apparel items that you might find as we would decide to the old head style, various like suit outfit Jones, where it's some white slacks and a white shirt, like white short sleeve button down shirt, and they match. You know what I'm saying? Because like I don't even know what you call them
Yeah,
stores,
because there was a
but they make them.
factory in China. There was a factory in China that put it together like that. You know what I mean? Like they was able to go to a store that had the pants and the shirt together
Yeah,
in plastic.
right. They all match. It's all same fabric. You know what I'm saying?
And it might even be linen.
Yeah, might be, or at least linen looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it might be linen-ish.
I mean, looking like linen. Like, and it's and now I know that there are cultural spaces as pertains to particular aspects of adaptations or realities of African diaspora culture where you might wear white in a celebratory place. So we're not talking about that. Like we talk about. So anybody that's listening, let's like Justice say them brothers over there disrespecting. We're not talking about that, man. We're not talking about either the cultural and or spiritual or engagement, celebratory or whatever the nature may be.
We
We're not
talking
talking
about
about
what
that.
Puffy did. Hold on, let's be real. Ain't nobody talk about no damn all white parties before like 96, 97.
Exactly.
People say what they want about Diddy, but he was the one that went out to the Hamptons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And played out there and brought that back. And the whole bad boy culture and brought that back. And let's just get that up. That's just who it was.
Yeah.
That's not to say that the brothers and sisters who was going to Martha's Vineyard or any of the other beach culture or because we're in around August, all the other places of the kind of summer vacation culture didn't have them. But I'm saying to the general populace, aka anybody who was into hip hop, Puffy and them fostered the all white party. So we're not talking about our Yoruba brothers and sisters or brothers that's dealing with Santeria or we talking about niggas that was watching videos, man. Like just so we'll get this twisted. Like you know what I mean? I had to, the words of Lord Hill, I had to add a motherfucker. So because like you know what I'm saying? People be like, what is the brother saying though? But what is the brother saying? Y'all know what we saying.
Yeah.
And hold up, I gotta touch on this one. Dinner and Blanc is another one. Because, you get in Dinner and Blanc, much in the space of the French, had a very interesting origin of like, people in a park and everybody was wearing white in the summertime and they partied under the stars and, very French.
Okay.
And then we kind of adapted it to the States in varying degrees, right? And again, you get like a white button-down shirt, some white cargo shorts, and some white shoes from Marshalls, or white shoes, some Stacey Adams from Nordstrom Rack. Like pursuit of any particular kind of idea of dressing to the point where you don't look your best is not a good idea.
Yeah. And that's I think the overall sort of conflict I feel with it right now. Like, what I did happen to do is find actually I think a good pair of white denim jeans. They were actually from Uniqlo, at least at that time. Uniqlo is very interesting with like, at least at my size, where like they may have something that you're like, oh, these are great pants. I'm gonna get these pants, and you could get them tailored. You can give them the measurements and get some adjustments made so they fit you better. But then they'll never have them pants ever again. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. That's part of. I don't know if that's part of the business model. Like you keep coming back trying to find some pants you can't never get. Like like certain addictions. Talk about like that first time it was great. You can't never find that again. But we got these other pants. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that works. However,
yeah. Uniqlo has a unique blend of like it being fast fashion, which there's some obviously challenges around that conversation, but done in a very Japanese way. And that's not, for me saying that, that's not making a value judgment about a particular group of people in the context of how the Japanese deal with fashion and the fashion industry is my point.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, you can find some stuff you can't find nowhere else. But next season, it ain't gonna be there.
Right. It ain't coming, and it ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Like, which, there's part of me that's like, that should be a good thing, right? Like that we did this and we had the materials to do this way. And I hope you got some while it lasts, because we're not promising you do this tomorrow.
Well, we're used to, but I think on the flip side, and this was the dialogue I had with Alyasha, we're used to, I should be able to find the same shoe the same way all the time. And there's something to be said for, no, you're not going to find the same thing the same way all the time. There are staples, but you're not going to find the same things all the time. So don't come back and expect to find it. It is going to be something different, right? So, yeah, I just think that sacrifice is something. And I also want to make this point about all Black parties. Because I think all Black parties are equally as guilty as all white parties, especially for men.
Yeah.
Because, for example, for a woman to find a Black dress to wear to an all Black party in a Black pair of shoes is cool.
Yeah, probably.
For a man to find all Black means you look like a pallbearer or a waiter. Like it just never looks cool. Like people think it looks cool to wear all Black, but I'm here to actually tell you, it actually doesn't look cool to wear all Black.
Yeah, it doesn't. It
looks, does very little for you.
Yeah, it looks cooler when you're thinking about it, and it looks cooler when you put, oh man, I got like a Black shirt with a Black suit. I'm gonna put on, and then you look back at the picture and you're like, man, I look like I'm about to bounce somebody up out of this joint, or I'm gonna be like, say, brother, you need to go ahead and settle up your bill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look like you on the job. Like, it does not.
Bouncer, pallbearer, bartender, like you pick, but it doesn't really compliment you. Like, you and I have built on this. You learn over time. There's no reason to really have a Black suit. Yeah. Like, not really.
Yeah, really.
Right? Like, unless it's a tuxedo.
Yeah, which is not the same thing.
Which is not the same thing as a suit. There's no real reason to have a Black suit. I bought a Black suit early when I was like buying suits. And it sat in once I knew better, it sat in my closet for a long damn time. Because when I looked at it, there was nowhere to wear it.
Yeah. The Black suit I have, the last time I wore it for a reason was because like we needed to wear a Black suit. like it was wear a Black suit, with these this adorning, I mean, was it a complementing tone? So Black suit, white shirt, and like a red tie. Like that was the ask. And that was, what I mean? But other than that, I have not worn, I don't wear that suit ever. Because it's as a someone a purveyor of clothing, and I don't, I'm not going to quote him. Well, I'll just say who said, like what I was going to get a suit made in the last 2 years. He said, "Where are you going to wear a Black suit to? You're not going anywhere in that Black suit. You need something with some color and some tones. You know what I mean? There's lots of blues, there's shades, there's all these other things you could be doing, and then you come out here with a
Black suit on.
With a Black suit on.
Well, people do these Black parties, right? And everyone gets hyped about going to a Black party. And none of you really look good. Like, at least a man, like, yes, if you put a woman in a Black dress or a Black dress, Black skirt, Black pantsuit, whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's still, within the range of the ways a woman's dress could be made. or would has been made. Like there's a chance for variety of style and like lines and shapes and colors and where things are not very colors, but like where stuff is happening. With men, it's going to end up being like some sort of pant, a shirt tucked in, or maybe a shirt not tucked in, a shirt with
three
buttons.
buttons unbuttoned like you some sort of gigolo.
3 buttons unbuttoned.
You know what I mean? Like you Razor
Posing
Ramon.
deep,
Right?
deep,
Like
deep V. You gotta have the deep V, like
yeah, like
you know
you
what I'm
raise
saying?
you ain't the damn Razor Ramon. You ain't
And
Undertaker.
then because of our you know, yeah, and then like if you have maybe you do, was it like some sort of other material, but most dudes in this day and time, most men are not going to do a sport coat if they can avoid it, unless it asks for something more formal. Like they're going to do some kind of t-shirt-ish shirt or shirt that looks like a t-shirt, because we still dealing with I don't know, interesting cultural stigmatism about sport coats. You know what I mean? That maybe we need to let go of. Go ahead, get you a good sport coat, or it's going to be the super tight.
I think it's only 30 to 40 years old. I mean, I think that's a whole nother conversation. I will say, our brother Supreme Unique is the only person I found that could wear all black and it actually like looks good. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's the only one I see do that. So Supreme, you hear this? Supreme, when you do it, it looks good. The rest of us look like like me and Jess would look like bartend, like bouncers and.
It looked like I'm about to ask you to make sure your table
like,
need to settle down over
your
here.
tab, like why you talking to the sister like that? You know what I'm saying? The rest of us look like that. We don't look like that. But to your point about sport coats and aversions, again, I think that's only one generation, and I think you can even look, and I will say this is based on our experience growing up, but also you can look at a lot of pictures of different, figures of the town, if you will. As late as like the early 90s, people were still getting custom made and tailored clothes.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's when hip hop, like as a thing, that hip hop constantly engages youth culture, right? It's constantly selling to Messiah, like, for people listening, my son's 13, right? It's constantly selling to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to go, at a different time I would have said it infantilizes some of us. I'm not going to go there today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say, like, it constantly sells to youth. So youth culture is not about getting dressed up. Well, what they call getting dressed up is matching like a Care Bear or, certain labels.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you say, I'm going to get on my grown and sexy, you're in your 30s. When before, in previous generations, a man might have been 14, 15 when he figured out what his measurements were.
Right.
Now people don't figure out the measurements till their 30s.
Right.
Right.
Maybe,
and then like we
prom.
talk about we took the whole prom thing, but then that's a whole like it fits a certain way. And I respect it. We talked about it, I get it. But it doesn't kind of fit like an internationally understood context for how suits fit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And even the idea of how a jacket at prom is fitting in that context is not how you would say like a suit or a tuxedo would fit. It has a different fit. It doesn't fit like that. So I just think like when we think about like people's relationships to sport coats and because you grow up, some people grow up and be like, oh man, that's like for white people or like old people.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like, no, this is just you have a really, but youth culture and a particular youth culture that some of us are a part of just stops you from thinking that these things are staples of your wardrobe until it's too late. Or I won't say too late, until you have to go to an event and like you're not properly dressed because you didn't invest in those things, but you have 15 pair of sneakers in the closet.
Yeah.
And a hat to match with all of them.
Bias of a person with big head like me, you get off hats real fast. So y'all more moderate sized head folks, y'all just be out here taking hats for granted. You know what I'm saying? But hats don't come naturally.
You could do a 7. You could do what? Can you do a 7 and 5/8 or 8 in hats?
Like I'm right at like without hair, I'm right at like a 7 and 5/8. With my hair,
Okay.
it starts getting challenging. Like I start looking
Oh,
at needing, like a brimmed baseball like fitted hat, or even some other hats. It starts being like I need a pretty big ass hat to get on my head. Like if I cut my hair off, then it might work better. But then it don't, then that brings its own set of challenges. You know what I'm saying? When you ain't got no hair and you put the hat on. But we working it out. You know what I'm saying? We find a way. You know what I'm saying? Some things you can, a good hat. Just saying. At least the hats that are just hats have never been big. Like the fitted ball hat has never been a hat that has worked well for my head. So I just like gave up on that whole world after my one Mets matching outfit from the early 90s.
that's actually a good point. Damn, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and the fitted. Yeah, damn.
I have to get them drawings up, man. I can't this don't stay on my either give me a headache or it don't fit right. Or I gotta start rocking it backwards like Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do it. I'm out the game, man. The rest of y'all won. I can't be hat dude, or I have to get a really big one, and now I have to wear an ensemble that let's say looks like I'm here to like Brooklyn in the house at the Latin Quarter or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here to abscond. As MOP was say, Annie up time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what is that guy doing? Why is his hat that big, and why can't we see his face? You know what I'm saying? Like there's no in
the
between.
shine hat. Yeah, like the shine hat of
Yeah.
2002, with
Right.
like dudes wearing hats that it was like sitting on their heads with inches to spare.
Yeah, and it's clear that like I don't want you to see my eyes or my face all the way, and that might not be a good look. I come in peace. I can't have a good time, party and chill with you, as Dougie Fresh would say. I ain't come here to start no stuff. Part of no
No,
ruckus.
that's
But
a good point.
So I mean I'll close, which I will take advice for the audience. Like the biggest point is I got these white jeans and I'm gonna wear them somewhere else. Doggone it, I just gotta figure out where I'm going.
Hey man, listen, man, you gotta pair them loafers, man. Throw them over the pair them loafers. If you got a month, and you ain't gotta abide by it. Some people don't abide by it, and you can go to places where it doesn't really matter. Just shit, you can go to Miami, and who's abiding by it there.
All right, who gonna tell you? Who gonna check you?
And who's really abiding by it in California for whatever reason? You can go to California, it's still 70 degrees in October. So
yeah.
I just want to say all white parties. One, they're a challenge. I think people need different rules for them. And two, if you're going to go about like play ball, like just don't mess it up.
Yeah.
And number two, and I do think sometimes there's spaces to say, hey, we're having a garden party, meaning we want you to have things on and look a certain kind of way. Hey, we might want you to wear linens. We might want you to wear browns and whites. We're not really asking for blues, but we're asking for blues. Maybe it's seersucker. Maybe it's cotton linen. There's a way to let people show their expression versus everyone having on all white and doing the swag thing. That thing when everybody does they do the swag surfing.
Yeah, the surfing. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
but also, you all white parties, watch that too, because they got y'all out here looking like bouncers. You women, the sisters looking all nice, and you out here, you know what I'm saying, looking like you want, like you came to the wrestling ring with Razor Ramon, or you know what I'm saying, Floyd Mayweather or something.
You look like you part of a parade. You were not here for the party. You part of the parade that was before the party. Well, there's nothing wrong with parades. I love parades. Just saying. Just think about that. Like, do you look like you was like holding the poles in the parade, or do you or ropes or something, or what I mean, or tambourines? Like you was in the parade before you got here, and then they was just like, "Oh, you should stay for the party." Like, if that's what it looked like, maybe you should get a different outfit. You know what I'm saying? So cool. All right. So, well, if we have time, I did want to go just with the summer theme.
Let's go. Yeah, let's do
I thought it'd be fun is maybe to share 2 or 3, songs that come to mind, that you associate with a summer mood or summer feel, any genre, any time. And So I would either I can
Go ahead, yeah,
pass.
go ahead. Now,
You,
yeah,
uh,
you know,
so I mean, I'll just start out with one just so we can take them off as a group. Is Maze, Fiji, and Frankie Beverly has a cornucopia of songs that would probably most of us would associate with the summertime, at least if you are that person of the African American persuasion in some way or fashion or form. Um, I did a short list of Maze favorite songs. I was like, you could go with any of these probably as songs that people would feel summery. But I decided one that I think is particularly cookouty to me in that and not in a way that I guess of two songs that would probably come to most people's minds, but this one being the one where you may not initially think that you're supposed to dance, but when you hear it, you go, "Oh yeah, this definitely is." There's a grill, there's somebody in a folding chair, maybe there's some bad potato salad. There's some kids that want to get the chicken, but they ain't getting no chicken. They getting burgers or Franks. That's their options. And that is Joy and Pain. You know what I mean? When you hear the like start playing and you walk in the back, like to me, that is a very summer is arriving. Like you should be out, you should be enjoying. It should be maybe a little too hot to be outside right now, but that's okay. And you trying to find somewhere in the shade to be present. So that's my first one. What do you think about that?
okay. I'm going to start with. All right, so I'm gonna do two because I'm gonna give an honorable mention. There's a reason for this.
Okay.
So the honorable mention is Lumi D. That song with the beat that I'm not clear where it came from. I don't know if it was a dancehall rhythm. I don't know. I don't know where the fuck that beat came from, but it is not deniable that in the summer of 2002, that song had the East Coast and particularly the Tri-State area, New York, in an absolute smash. She couldn't sing. We don't know where the beat came from. But if you were anywhere uptown, you know that shut the summer down. And then they had a host of remixes. Fab got on one. Dan felt like it was damn near started reggaeton.
Yeah, I think it has 73 million plays on
It
on
had
the
73
Spotify.
remixes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, had as many remixes as Grinding by the Clips. Like, had all kind of remixes. So yeah, so Lumi D, that one I think is just depending on your age, that song remains clear in your head as a summer song. But my number three is actually "Give It to Me" by Jay-Z. Right. I actually think that heralded a new place in Jay-Z's career. I think it was the first like real club song that he did. Had Pharrell singing on the hook, and as much as we like Pharrell was singing on the hook 20 years 22 23 years ago, right? Also, quick Philadelphia, what's the name? That chorus was actually created by Sparks from Moschino and Sparks. And then what's the name sang it. And that's why Sparks is on the second part. Give me that sweet, that nasty, that gushy stuff. Like, because he actually created the whole what's the name?
That whole joint.
Yeah. So that's my like summertime, like getting close to the end of the summer Jay-Z first like club song, because Hard Knock Life wasn't really a club song.
No, it's not.
I mean, you could say kind of Throw Your Hands Up with Beans in the Mill, but that was more that was a club in the sense of someone's going to get robbed, not you're having a party.
Yeah. Right? It's not even a song that you want to keep going too long in the club. Like you want to hear it for like a minute.
You might want to hear Mac
40
in
seconds.
the beginning of Jay, but yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with the whole Jay-Z singing, I wish I never met her at all. Like that's a summer song and a club song. So yes, my
Okay.
That's my number 3.
All right, that's good. I went and I tried to I tried to restrict myself a little bit from hip hop in my first list run through of like just drawing some songs up because I might I didn't want to be overly Justice is overly hip hop centric at this moment, um um but let me see here another song that I associate or feels better to be heard in the summer is accidental to Bob Marley and the Wailers, and that's Jammin'. Feels very like summer festival y to me.
Oh yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm
it definitely
saying?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and here's a piece of this. I think that again, time doesn't kind of reflect, but when there was a space of like in cities where there was like a neighborhood that there were a lot of folks from the West Indies and like
Mhm.
you would go where there was like a reggae festival or like a Caribbean festival in your particular city and they'd be playing that along with like Shaba and like, Cuddy Ranks. but you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like Ninja Man, but it'd be like a mix and you're right. I mean, I think it's just we downplay how well Bob Marley's like and the Wailers, because we started saying Bob Marley, like the Mother Brothers was there. Um but particularly when he left and kind of went to do his own thing, like how well produced those songs were and how they were like he had his eye on the American crowd.
Yeah.
Right. And he knew he wanted to kind of really make sure he brought it because he knew how much that the music from Jamaica, the music from the States was impacting ska and then later reggae, but then really bringing reggae to America. I don't know if we discussed this, how, he opened up for Lionel Richie at Madison Square Garden.
Hmm.
So the show, and listen to this just to show you how weird music was. Curtis Blow, Bob Marley, and Lionel Richie at Madison Square Garden. It was the second to last show that he ever did. The show after that was a show in Pittsburgh, which was the last show Bob Marley ever did before, but by the time his toe and everything it just got unbearable.
Hmm.
But yeah, opened up at Madison Square Garden with the purpose of connecting to the Black American crowd. Yep.
That's great.
Nelson George talks about it in his Substack. He talks about like there was a manager that was from the States that was managing Bob Marley that made sure that, because Bob really wanted to actually perform in New York at Madison Square Garden with Black folks.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
See, thank you, Justice, for your randomly knowing stuff I ain't know that people do.
Well, first of all, you're the king of that. But second of all,
look at me trying to push it off on somebody else.
Thanks, Nelson George. But no, his Substack is actually really interesting. He actually has like he's been doing a real quick not to go too far off, but he's been doing different vignettes of like different gangster like music people. Mm-hmm. One of the things he shares is how the actual character Gusto in CB4 was actually based on a real person.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like Gusto wasn't made up. Gusto was a real person. And like got kidnapped by like dudes that like were robbing people for drugs.
Oh wow.
And like murdered, yeah. And told his family not to give up the money, and they dumped him in the Bronx. Like it's a wild story.
Wow.
Yeah. So that when you see, because he was a co-writer with Chris Rock.
Right, he was.
When you see it Gusto was based on somebody for real.
That's crazy. That's
awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Man,
like
what a world we live in.
Yeah, like he had
a dude,
dude did an R&B group that like got signed before Guy, but Guy and them got more influence, so they dropped that group on Tommy Boy. Like, it's a whole story anyway. But yeah, like, for anyone listening, check out Nelson George's Substack. It's worth the $6 or $7 a month, frankly. So my number two, and I'm kind of staying in hip hop or R&B as you kind of left it, is the Benjamins. Summer of 1997.
Yeah, that's
if you created a song that had more of a lock on the streets, I don't know which one you found. I mean, you could argue also, again, Diddy was really smart with always releasing like the Biggie remixes in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So One More Chance remix and Get Money remix all got released sometime before late May. They weren't like officially summer songs, neither of them, but they were all released by the summertime in order to get burned. But for this context, the Benjamins, that was actually organized by Missy. Another musical fact I just found out the other day. Missy actually put the song together.
What?
Yeah. Because you think about it, the Benjamins doesn't sound like anything Bad Boy had done until that point.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The beat, the way that the raps come in, right? Like how Jada and then Chic Styles isn't on the song.
Right. And now I'm playing it in my head. It is.
Yeah, it's a very unique, like, the way that Lil' Kim drops out, you want to rumble with the beat, huh? Like, and then Biggie with the beat change. Like, it is a different kind of song. So that's my number two.
So for my last one, I'm gonna go very hip hop, and that would be Glacier's Ice. And
man, damn.
I mean, even in the intro, it feel hot at night. You know what I'm saying? The sun ain't even out. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, the first time I heard Glacier's Ice was in the I think it was probably more like spring, but I heard it and I was like, what is that? Like, it was on the red, like, and I was like, what was that? And then I had to, like, when this was for the children listening who don't understand, I had to, like, purposely leave the radio on in the house to see if they played it again so that I'd know what it was. I think I might have called you or somebody and said, hey, did you hear this song? Do you know where this song? Does someone have a recording of this song so I can listen to it all the time? And so then I could have a copy that I could go and play in my Walkman, which was a device that played tapes. Okay, for the young people that are listening, if there are any that may not understand this time in life in America. But also, I mean, everything about that song is to me walking on South Street when it's unreasonably hot at night. Is riding up the what's the name, the Harlem River, the East Side, whatever the highway is, East Side Highway FDR, at breakneck speed. It's it's getting out the car, getting some Mamoons, is going up to 125th Street for whatever reason.
That's exactly what our time was spent during that time. I mean,
it's all.
The album was released at the end of the summer. Glaciers of Ice was the Glaciers of Ice and the Criminology, right? Like, those songs just like personified the summer of '95. Shouts out to DT. Dia, kind of had access to the purple tape. And did an interview with Raekwon for Stress Magazine. All hip hop folks will remember Stress. You're right. That song and everything about it reflects, like, when it's 100 degrees in New York and you got on boots and camouflage, and like, you just got to act like it's okay. Like, you just got it's a thing today. If you said to me, hey, it's 100 degrees, Want to put on a pair of boots and some camouflage?
Want some Timbs on and some
Yeah,
camo pants?
I say use the damn lie, right?
And then had the nerve to want to go in places. Like, yo, we try to
Right.
come in there and kick it.
Right, like you look like a problem. Like, yo, why are you dressed like this? Right?
I ain't
like,
got the hat on. You know what I'm saying? Let me get up in here. You can see my face.
Oh man, we was tripping. But yeah, whoo,
I had to
you
play
dropped
that
it off
when I
there.
go to get something to eat. I need to play that in the car because it's, it is. I mean, I could do, like I said, I wanted to try to expand my horizons so it wouldn't be all just by various songs of the summer. But that one is definitely one that's like, it's like, what I mean, it's hot, feel hot at night, and it's like, and I'm like, yeah, man, where we going? We going outside? Where we going? We going outside? We going outside? We going down to O.
Like you said, the car's moving fast. Mama smoking weed. Oh man,
Stuff's happening. People, is rapping going on. Is clubs is letting out. You know what I'm saying? All of the summer, we are up. Why are we up? Why are we still awake? We should have went to bed. Why? It's summertime, man. It's hot in there. We staying outside. Like, we ain't nobody going to bed.
Yeah,
you can go to bed some other time. You got your whole life to sleep.
Lie, man.
Like, it's 4:00 in the morning. Why are we still here? Because we are. And it's summer. And the Glaciers Ice is playing. Enjoy your life. Man. You know what I'm saying? Live your dreams. So,
all right, my number one is one of my just favorite R&B songs, and I think it is literally in time and the sound made for the summer. It was summer 2003. Why Don't We Fall in Love by A. Marie? Yeah, I mean, how the beat comes in, it is like, in the modern kind of hip hop R&B age, that and Tell Me from Group Theory,
yeah,
to me are close to like the damn near perfect songs. Like, they are just executed flawlessly. And the A. Marie song dropped right for the summer because by that time we were dealing with mixtapes and the whole idea of mixtape culture with hip hop-esque beats and singing over it, which comes from the blend tapes, had just like kind of lodged itself into mainstream hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, A. Marie, Why Don't We Fall in Love is kind of like a song that perfectly encapsulates the summer. Again, like to your point, driving fast somewhere. We're driving fast down 95 to get somewhere else.
Right. Deciding real late that we gonna go somewhere on a power trip. Right. we got the car at
or we got
6 p.m.
Or we got to get back from the power trip.
Right. Yeah, that's the other one. We gotta get back to get the car back.
In the morning, and it's 9:00, and we're still in New York City listening to reggae on Hot 97. Which, if you are still in New York and reggae comes on, you've been there too late. If you're trying to get to Western Pennsylvania,
you've been there way too late.
You've been there way too long, man. Because it is 9:45, and you are still listening to Hot 97, man. Like, you got to go.
Yeah, you gotta get the car. You gotta get on the road. You gotta leave.
And
the tolls are the same price no matter what time you leave. So just go ahead.
Yeah, just get on the road. But yeah, that would be my song. I also will note for folks who are on Apple Music that Mashonda, the artist Mashonda, just put out her summer song, kind of like 100 Days of Summer, and she did 100 songs.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's a really, really good list. Like, really, really, really good list. That spans from Bob Marley to Glenn Lewis to Cheryl Lynn to Mary J. Blige to Pete Rock and CL Smooth, 702s, Soul to Soul, Ready for the World, Stevie Wonder,
oh wow.
Yeah.
Look that up. I think I got, do I have access to that? I think I do.
Fronting with Jay-Z and Pharrell, it is a. So I would, if folks, if you're an Apple Music person, knock it out, or you do what I did. I'm not an Apple Music person, so I just screenshot all of them and make my own playlist.
I was like, where did you have access to that?
Listen, I don't know.
Again, these are the mysteries that the universe will always ask. How did Majestic come across that information?
Yo, listen, I came across it. I screenshot them all, and I'm gonna have my own playlist starting tomorrow morning when I go run. So, that's what's gonna be my summertime playlist. So, there's that. But yeah, man, I think, it's interesting. I don't think because of today's music, people are making songs for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just songs being made, and hey, if it tends to last in the summer, that's cool. If it doesn't last, like no one wants to like run the summer anymore, right? Which I think is a bad thing. I think it's something to be said when people are being thoughtful around making music for the summer.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I do feel like we lose something from like beats of the kind of like the flow of the year, so to speak, creatively. Like, oh man, like this. I know there's and I think you can find it. I know at least a couple of years ago. I think it was Planet Money did a couple, or at least did one podcast about like the concept of the song of the summer and like how that plays into like record sales and music and all kinds of stuff. But I don't even know if now, I said a couple of years ago, it might have been 7 or 8 years ago, because Planet Money was a long time ago, that existed. But saying that to say the like idea that something would come out with the intention of being, a song you're going to listen to or hear, as you're doing whatever summery stuff happens. That's if you are so aligned to trips, or if you're of the age where maybe you're like looking forward to music festivals, I don't know, whatever, we're gonna go to parties, I don't know what you do.
Well, I think the summer music festival has replaced the summer song, now that you actually make that point. I think at one point we were talking about that, where now we're like, who's going to tour, right? So right now it's who toured, and you had Taylor Swift, you had Ed Sheeran, you had Beyonce, you have Drake, right? And that's kind of replacing the idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beyonce still keeps it in mind. Like she dropped the album last year during the summer.
Yeah.
So someone like her, I think, still keeps it in mind.
Yeah. Well, and I would say that maybe it might be, not that I'm going to know I'm not going to see Taylor Swift, but I am going to Beyonce in Las Vegas. But Taylor Swift and Beyonce, and then, probably as like the Shadow Empire third, the Erykah Badu and Yassine Bey shows, from what I could tell, have been kicking the summer's tail, like all across America. Like people pulling up, showing up places and being like, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that was happening this weekend, and it's happening.
No, I think it's given the energy back to the music culture that it hasn't had in a minute. Because people are traveling to see these things, right? And the Erykah Badu actually shows an interesting way. Again, after reading the Dilla book, like, all things lead back to Dilla. I didn't think so. And I remember 1999, people played Slum Village for me, and I was like, these niggas can't rap. But I guess there's something bigger, whatever. Because if you were 13 when On and On came out, you're 40 something now. Yeah. You're 40, 41. So anybody down from there and going up, you've been around a space where Erykah Badu has produced music for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Jill Scott's album, came out in 2000. That album is 23 years old.
Right.
Right. So, I just put that in the context of like thinking, if you heard an album that came out in 1967 and then thinking about listening to it again in 1990, That's the same time between when Jill Scott came out and today. 23 years, none of the same 23 years. Right?
That's
So yeah, it's an interesting kind of space where the summer festival or summer tour culture is. And especially now that like certain cities have certain energy. So you're like, you got to go to Chicago to see a show. You got to go to Detroit to see a show. There's a Instagram thing called Black Detroiters. If you see the outfits that people have worn to Beyonce show, men and women, not just women, men and women. It is a pearl clutcher, Jack. It is a pearl clutcher, Jack. Man,
they turned it out for the
turned in classic Detroit. Shouts out to D Becker in classic Detroit fashion. Absolutely turned it out, man. So yeah, and listen, enjoy the summer. Willfully, it's defined by positivity, you know, and you're not in Phoenix or somewhere where it's been 100 degrees for the last 31 days. You know, I guess we can, you know, we said we weren't gonna talk about nothing serious, so we can, you know, we can not talk about climate change today.
Yeah, we can say that for next week. But
we can say
it's good. Yeah, it's still a good footnote because, you know, it's still good to know.
We can say that, yeah, Phoenix ain't been under 100 in a month. You know, but enjoy the summer, enjoy the festivals, enjoy the fact that music does bring folks together, man.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's all I got. So with that, you can say peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Good Brothers. Thank you to my good brother, Majestic. Good Brothers is a part of the Ask Your Oldhead podcast, and you can support the podcast by listening, sharing, and rating wherever you listen, and subscribing wherever you listen. Subscribing is good. You can also support the podcast by becoming a patron of me, Justice Rajee, who produces this on Patreon. Just search Justice Rajee or Ask Your Oldhead. I think it'll both come up. You can sign up. There might be some changes and rearranges coming to that world at some point. But in the meantime, man, sign up. Do that. And then the other thing you can do is click on some links, look around. There is still a operational shop with some shirts, a mug, a couple odds and ends. You can feel free to purchase an item, which, you know, most of those items, the margin on covers will cover the costs that it costs to actually, you know, make sure this is on the internets. Man, it's been a summer, so I hope that these two entries that you're probably getting both today were enjoyable. And you know, I ain't lying when I say I'm, you know, working to do more. Just a lot happening in my life right now. However, we will keep the creative juices flowing. So thank you for listening, and you know, be well. Peace.